we can make this 5 minutes, we can make it 1 hour, whichever you like. But it's all pictures, and I tell you, it will take you through the story of what happened since we left here. So, if I can get that to work, I'll be right. Okay, so yeah, I think it's probably better if you go one step back. So we went and had, after, you know the process that happened here, right? You were involved. I don't know whether some of you had the right of voting or not, but it was from, I think, age 18 and above. But then, anyway, finally it went to His Holiness the Pope, and we went there, and we had a meeting with him. I had a meeting on my own first, as an introduction, because he's never seen me before. And then the following, 2 days later, we went with Selwa, Michael, and John. Peter was not there yet. And we had another meeting. And he was actually very, very good. He gave us the time, and he was good communicating and discussing different things, getting to know the family, because he has to make his final decision after meeting the family as well. Peter wasn't there, so we had a third meeting again with him, with Peter, and also Abouna arrived on Saturday, so that meeting was on the Saturday, the night before the ordination. I went so fast. How do I go back? Oh, here we are. Yeah, okay. So there's Abouna's and Peter and Marie, we know. No, I cannot work this. I think I'm going to leave it to the technical. John, maybe from your end. So he wasn't rushed at all. He gave us plenty of time, and I enjoyed it. I'm sure Abouna also enjoyed it. It was a really nice meeting. And then the following day, we know there were 22 people ordained on that day as priests, and Abouna was the only one who had a promotion on the same day as well. So some of us were already deacons before. They were from the theological college, and they were at the grade of diakon or deacon. So, but we weren't. I was an able diakon. So Amba Bishoy, who is one of the very senior bishops, took us through a certain process, talks, to become deacons first, because you have to be at that level before you can be ordained as a priest. And then we put on this black galabeya. Okay, there. That's fine. That's fine. This is not working. Anyway, so yeah, so that was the first step, and this was early morning. We were there from 6:30 in the morning in the main cathedral in Cairo. And there you see in the middle there is another priest who was ordained on the same day. He's from the church where I grew in Shobra in Cairo. And the one beside him is his older brother, who is also a priest there. On the sides, you know Abouna Rafael, because he's been here several times before. So we were colleagues in Sunday school. Abouna on the other side was also there with us as we were growing together. Now he serves in Nasr City in Cairo. Okay, next. And Abouna very, very kindly and humbly carried my white ordination outfit there, as you can see. And Amba Angelos, as I said 2 days ago, Amba Angelos and Amba Anthony so kindly came specially to Cairo to attend the ordination and participate. Abouna Kyrillos was there just for 12 hours. He had to fly in the morning, and then by the afternoon he traveled back again. And Anthony was there for a couple of days for the same reason. So it was very much appreciated. Yeah, the family. Okay. And they gave us these cards with the new name. The name was chosen in discussion with the Pope. So he either decides a name, or you give him a couple of names that you want to become one of those, or something like that, and then he gives the final decision. That was in the meetings before. So I asked for Kyrillos, and he was happy to give that. So on that card it said Al-Qis Kyrillos, St. Mary, St. Shenouda, Church, Croydon. The sheet below that is like ta'ahud. It's something you say, I promise I will do this, this and that. I will abide by the church's rules and so on. Okay, so we had to read that. Yeah, that's fine. Carry on. Carry on. Okay, now we can stop there. So the 22 to-be priests stood there in front of the Pope and the bishops, and we read that sheet together that we'll do this, and they were reading the Al-Wasiyya like we read parts of during the liturgy a couple of days ago. And then the Pope started to take each one of us in turn to pray the special prayers for priesthood, and then he will dress us with the white cloth after that. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so then after I was number 22nd. So I was the last one there in the ordination process, and then followed by Abouna Kyrillos' promotion. And as Anthony dressing Abouna. And then we shared the liturgy with the Pope and the bishops and the priests. It was a wonderful occasion. It was very crowded. It was very busy. I didn't know where I was. It was just going on, and you carrying on with the flow. But that was at the end when we were saying Amin, Amin. And then we had the communion from His Holiness Pope Tawadros. Then there were some photograph sessions, and that's the one I now have on my Facebook. Okay, thank you. Yes. And that's a beautiful one. I don't think Abouna saw that one before. I can send it to Paula or Kyrillos. Thank you. And obviously, perhaps very happy to have a picture with Malam Ibrahim Ayed. So it was a good chance there as well. And then we went from there to the monastery. So everyone of the 22 has choices. You can go to one of the monasteries that have the facility to train you to become, for the task, to become a priest. But you get like a final approval from His Holiness. So I knew before I went there that there was a particular monk priest in Saint Michel Monastery who trains you in English. So I said to His Holiness the Pope that I would prefer to go there, and he agreed on that. So it was very good that it was arranged this way, because most of the others went to their El Bramos, So they ended up with a huge number from several ordinations that happened at the same time. There were about 50 new priests in Al-Baramos monastery, where I was on my own, being given a private lesson in San Bishoy monastery, having a very nice 2-bedroom unit with a bathroom and everything, whereas they were crowded 2 and 3 and 4 in each room. So yeah, so I was happy obviously with that. So these were pictures when we just arrived there. And when I went to that room, I was so pleased to see this picture sitting there, because as the saint I'm named after now. So, and I don't know if you can read Arabic, but it says كن مطمئنا جدا جدا ولا تفكر في الأمر كثيرا بل دع الأمر لمن بيده الأمر. So it gives you peace. It says be reassured, be peaceful, be happy. Don't think a lot about the matter, because leave the matter to that who has the upper hand, that who has the matter in his hands, that he can deal with it. You don't have to worry about things. Leave it to God. So I was very happy to see it in my room. Now I bought a copy of that when I came back, so I have it in my room here as well. Yeah, it gave me strength all the way through. Whenever I'm a bit troubled, then I look at it and I feel so reassured. And sneaky Paula, without me knowing, he had his camera on when I first held the Sharia for the first time, as Abouna was kindly trying to teach me on the first day, because he was with Paula with us in the monastery for the first 3 days. It was very good. It was very supportive. I didn't know what to do with it, and I was worried that I'm going to drop all the everything on the carpet and so on. Thank you. And again, Abouna is giving me a private lesson during the first Mass, so that was on the 17th, on the second day after the ordination. It's a small chair. Has any one of you been to the San Bishoy Monastery? No? You have. Okay. So the ancient church there, or the main church, is San Bishoy, but then it has Abbas Khairon al-Khalili as a second church, small one on the right side. On the left side is Amba Binyamin, the second church there. So 3 churches in that main building. And this was in Amba Binyamin's church. After that, for the rest of the time, I prayed mostly in Al-Qadis Abbas Khairon church. Beautiful, small church. That's probably about the size of the front for us here, the whole church. Thank you. But then, from the day Abouna started to give me the first lesson, the program was organized that every morning I go with Abouna Sarabamon, who is going to teach me. So we start with the matins, vespers, matins, and then the liturgy, and then a lesson. And the matins start at 5 o'clock in the morning. So wake up just after 4, get myself ready, walk from the residence to the church, and then we have these 3 functions in order. Oh no, before the third one, before the lesson, we had the Nescafe. And it had to be a gold game. So that was good to wake us up a little bit. I found the first week very hard. I have said that several times. I'm saying it again, so you know, because we think everything is just easy, it's just movements. I've always seen Abouna walking with the Sharia around there. We hold the Bishara and the cross, and Abouna goes around. I don't know what he's doing, except that he's going around, and then he walks around here in a certain order. but there is a lot that happens during that time. And I didn't realize that. I thought it was all easy, and I found it very difficult. But as time went by, it got a bit easier, and this old brain had to start to be able to memorize things. Obviously, you need to know what to do, and you need to learn what to say. So I started with time to build up my own khulagi, because otherwise I couldn't follow the big book. So I had a small book, and I was writing what I should do, what I should say at every step. And finally, it got a little easier after that day, because during the first 2 weeks or so, that was on the 3rd of December. That's when I was sort of completely trained to the degree that I can do in the liturgy what Abouna used to do. The first 2 weeks I was doing what Abouna Kyrillos was doing or is doing. So, you notice every time in the liturgy, Abouna says things regularly, and Abouna Kyrillos does other things sort of regularly as well. So, it's called Al-Kahin Al-Khadim, Al-Kahin Al-Sharik. Al-Khadim is the priest who takes the parts that have actions related to changing the bread and the wine into the body and the blood of Christ. The first part, we was just going through the things that are mostly readings or actions, but nothing to do mainly on the altar. And from the 3rd, then I was doing the whole thing. So there is a special ceremony there on that day. It's called Taslim Istilam al-Zabiha, where it's announced then that you now can perform the whole liturgy. And it was sort of a big celebration. I had family and friends coming, and there were several monks and priests from there and visitors. And after the liturgy, then they take you around the church, like what happened here when I first came on the 31st. And then again, they stood there and read again very clearly, very carefully, the instructions, what a new priest should be doing and responsible for, and so on. It was a very emotional day. This was a lot more difficult than the day of the ordination itself. It was very difficult. But then after that, from that day onwards, things started to get easier. I wasn't under so much pressure, because now you've completed your training, it's just about time and training and reading and so on. And it went much easier from then onwards. And so it meant that I don't have to spend the whole time trying to learn how to perform the liturgy, but also time to be able to listen to sermons, to be able to read, to be able to go around and enjoy the life of seclusion and the life of the monastery, meeting other monks there, learning from them, and I met some wonderful people and saints in that place. That was the same day. So behind them, or behind us, is the body of Saint Bishoy. That's the main church. And then after that, with the family, taking some photographs there. If you see right in the back in that green line on the right hand side, that's where the churches are in Saint Bishoy Monastery, and where the priest residence was. But then it's surrounded by a huge area of land. So you go for walks, and while walking, you're either reading something, listening to something, or repeating and memorizing, trying to learn things. So I was trying to get at least one of those walks every day. It was very nice. The only thing that wasn't good about it was the flies and the mosquitoes, but otherwise it was really a good chance. And you can see the distance there. And beautiful scenes, obviously, especially sunset. That's the one that I love. I have it now on my phone. Okay, and during Kiyak, every Saturday they start Tasbih Kiyak from like 10 o'clock in the evening, and it goes on until 4 o'clock in the morning. Then 4 o'clock is the liturgy until about 6:30. And so there was only one Saturday when I was there. So I went there, and they usually, when it is a function that Ambas Rabamon is there, it's usually just for the monks. But during the Kiyak, they allowed the other priests as well, the trainee priests, to be in. And during Tasbih, they allowed other people who are there as well to attend. But when the Mass starts, it's only for the priests and the monks. And the person you see right in the front there reading on the left side, in the next one please, is Ambas Rabamon, who is a fantastic person. He is one of the very senior bishops at the moment, the same generation as Pope Shenouda and so on. I think he must be 85 or more now, Abouna, I think. He looked very old, but in spite of his age, he was. I went at that night. I went at 12, and he was already there before me. Obviously, he doesn't stand much because he cannot even walk properly, unsupported. So he had a seat, and he was sitting there, and he stood up and was sharing as well in reading and singing the tasbih. So it's very nice. And one day, so that's the only time that I attended the service with him, apart from another time when I came one morning, because as I told you, I go every morning for Rafa Bkhur Bagir, and usually at this time they are saying tasbih, the daily tasbih. So I go in and start preparing the altar and so on. And I've never, during my whole stay, seen him in the morning there, except one day when I was not feeling emotionally so well, when I felt I needed some support. And that day was the only day when I actually went in and saw him sitting there. And it was like God was giving me that support that I needed at the time. I went to Babishoy, and then I was turning around and suddenly saw Sayyidina sitting there. It was so wonderful to see him. It's like you have a need and God is giving it straight away. He's not leaving you alone. And he's like a father, a very, very kind father. Usually he just gives his hand and you kiss it and you go around, or says very little words. But on that particular day, he stopped me and he was asking, "How are you? Do you need anything?" It was like, what is happening? So I spoke to him a little bit, and then, "Do you need anything? Where are you going to serve?" I said, "St. Mary, St. Shenouda. Have we given you everything here? Do you need anything else? Are you missing something?" So I told him I need prayers and so on. So he stood up. The man who does not usually walk on his own, he stood up and put his hand on my head and prayed for me. And I felt so great. And things changed. You feel a lot of power. You feel that everybody is supporting you and God is there all the time. So it was one of those wonderful nights that, or days that I had there. This was the last liturgy before I left. It was on the Friday. And the gentleman, the Abouna in the middle, is Abouna Sarabamon. So he's Amba Sarabamon, he's the Bishop Abouna Sarabamon, who was my teacher. And next to him is one of the priests who was ordained after me as well. So he was there for training, but in Arabic. And this is, you can see the picture of Qadis Abbas Khairun Al-Qilini. As I said, this church, we prayed a lot in that church. I was doing the Vespers at usually St. George's Church, and the liturgies at Abbas Khairun Church. Actually, on the previous picture, because I was mainly supposed to be learning in English, but on some days like that day, there were sometimes many buses coming with load of people from Upper Egypt, because the group of those priests, they were from Al-Said, from Upper Egypt. So the villages were sending buses with the priest from there and a group of people to pray with their new priest. But I was praying at the time, and the new priest wanted to hear the prayers in English. But I didn't pray any English in those masses, because I looked behind me. What am I going to pray in English? How are they going to understand any of that when they all like poor farmers and so on? So I prayed it all in Arabic, and it was funny because they asked me, Abouna on that side, after finished, we wanted to hear some English prayers. I said, but they would not understand. He said, oh, they would have thought you were singing, you were praying Coptic, so you could have just done it. And we went to visit Al-Suryan Monastery and Al-Baramos Monastery. There are three monasteries beside each other, and Babshoy, Al-Suryan, Ladra, and Al-Baramos a little bit of a distance there, and then one further away, which is Abu Ma'ar. So this was Al-Baramos, where you see San Yahnis Kami, Yohanna Kama. And that was a wonderful person I met as well. I think he is a saint. His name is Abouna Kyrillos. We met him at San Makar, Abu Makar Monastery. On the way home, we decided, let's try our luck, because you cannot usually get in easily in Abu Makar, especially during fast seasons. But we went there, and he was taking care of the gate. And they were not allowing buses to come in, but they were allowing cars. So you stop and tell them. So I said, Abouna, I come from England. I have not been to this monastery for 30 years. And it's true, I've been there in the 1970s. So I want to come and take the blessing of the place. So he allowed us in. But he was behaving in a way like he's some sort of crazy a little bit. And singing and dancing and so on. I was a bit strange. I said, what's that weird person doing here? But we went in, he directed us where to go. And wherever we went there, we found somebody to open the place for us. And that was quite unusual, especially they have, it's every monastery of those old ones, they have a sort of, like an old castle, where they have walls, al-hisn. And you cannot go in unless somebody opens for you, give you that permission. But we found somebody there, the place, they were praying, but somebody was walking around, and it happened that he is the man that has the keys, that can take people around. So again, it was like God was letting us take that blessing. So we went up and took pictures and prayed and so on. And then when we going out, I was with my wife's brother, Osama. So when we were driving outside the doors again, I thought, there is something very special about this man. Let's go back and see. I think he is probably just behaving this, making it up, so people don't think much of him. because you remember the stories of Abouna Abdul Masih al-Manahri and other saints of that kind. So we thought there's something very saintly about him. Let's just go back and ask if he would allow us to take a picture with him. And we went back, asked what is Abouna's name. So the young man there told us he's Abouna Ghaith. So do you think he will allow us to take a picture with him? He said, yeah, ask him. So he was sitting inside the cabin, and we went and asked, Abouna, do you mind if we take a picture with you? No problem, come in. and he took us in, he sat, you see how he's behaving, he was like that all the time, like a quite jolly man, happy, no problem, take a picture, it's no problem, although usually they don't like to be photographed. But then, after a little while, he asked everybody, okay, we take a picture, bring some tea, but then I want you to leave me with the priest. That's me. So I was, okay, what's happening here? The tea came, and while he was talking so funny, and then a fly dropped in his cup of tea. So I said, Abouna, there's a fly in there. And I asked the boys, can you make him another one? So he said, yes, we'll make him another one. He said, no, leave it. What's wrong with the flies? All in one step. And it's finished. And then he asked everybody to leave, and they went out, closed the door, and he turned very, very serious. And he was a totally different man. He was giving me some advice that I did not really expect that I would hear from someone behaving like this. Very serious, how to look after people, how to handle problems. I don't know if you noticed, one of the things I said in my sermon a couple of nights ago is, do not leave anybody out, embrace everybody. And he was going into details. You cannot ignore or leave anybody. You just need to love everybody, take everybody in, give them all the care, and so on. And that's just a general thing, but he went into details of various aspects that I found very, very valuable, and I think I will remember and benefit from that for the rest of my service. So you see, you don't have to, we look at the appearance on the outside, but God knows the inside. And I think that man, God bless him and protects him, I think he is a saint. And when the people came in, he said, Abouna, you pray for me. I said, no, I want you to pray for me, Abouna. I'm just new, and you've been in here for years. He said, no, I'm a deacon, you are a priest. And he took my hand, he put it on his head, and he insisted that I pray for him. And I prayed for him, but I'm praying to take the blessing, rather, because I don't deserve really to put my hand on the head of that man. Thank you. I also took the blessing of another one that many people believe that he's another saint that's living amongst us. His name is Abouna Kyrillos Antoni. He comes sometimes to Cairo, and people, when they know that he's coming, they queue to go and take his blessing. My family that I stayed with, they knew him before, they visited him before. The visit takes 1 minute usually because there are loads of people waiting to see him. And he wasn't in until like noon time. We were told he is in the monastery, but then later on in the afternoon we heard that he has arrived. So we said, okay, let's go and see what happened, if we can meet him. And we went there, and there was nobody waiting in the queue to see him, and he was inside, just came in a short while ago. People didn't know about that he's there yet. And we went in and we spent about 10 minutes, which is a long time with someone like him. And again, he he allowed pictures, he prayed for us, he asked about us, and it was very nice meeting as well. Then we had some chance to visit a few things in Cairo, and this is Al Tahuna. Have you read about Pope Kyrillos? So that's where he spent part of his life. I think it was in the 40s when he was praying in this place. It was a desert before, or a mountain. Now it's very difficult to drive to get there because there's so many little narrow roads there now, and it's up and down, and it's what they call in Egypt al-ashwaiyat. It's places that have been built without planning permissions or anything, just little houses appearing all the time. And during the World War, he was asked to leave that place, so he went down the road and stayed in a church, or built a church there, and it's called San Mina, who is his obviously his saint. I followed your progress here with the trip to the monastery, so I was calling to find out what's happening and how you're getting on, and I called the fathers there, and I was pleased to receive this picture. I think I got it on WhatsApp. So I hope whoever of you went there enjoyed the trip, and I hope that we continue to do that every year. And then I had the chance, after I finished the monastery, to pray in some churches in Cairo, where I had some link. So my first Mass was in a sort of a posh area called Ard al Golf, where they had 100% English Mass on one day of the week, on a Saturday. I left the monastery on the Friday, and I was asked to perform the service there on the Saturday because the priest was busy somewhere else. So it was a good chance to practice. But then I prayed in Abouna Raphael's church, and in this church, which is where I now have residence in Cairo, in Madinat Nasr. So this is Al-Adra and Athanasius. And all this group of people, they were in service with me in Sunday school during my early years in Cairo. So they called each other and we had a big meeting. Half of them, as you can see, are priests. It was good. Now they have formed a forum on Facebook, or a group of ex-St. Michael's Church, Tosun, Cairo. And it now has over 150 people in that group. So it's very good. Now they're starting to put in old pictures of the group and how we looked at the time. This is St. Michael's Church at Sheraton, where Abouna Raphael serves. And my final liturgy was in St. Michael Church in Chobra, where I attended the Sunday school for many years and served there before moving to England. So again, some of the older fathers and newer fathers, they're all younger than me age-wise, but they have a lot of experience. Now you can see the white beards. Thank you. All right. So I thought it would be nice to share this experience with you. I hope I didn't bore you. But we'll just end for a few minutes with something that you know, but it's a chance to remember that at the beginning of a year. So I missed the R. That's the first mistake of the year. Okay. I just noticed that there now. So targets. So as we're starting the year, it's a good chance to stop and think, what are our targets? Or what is our target? If I ask you that, as a general question. What is your target? What is your aim? Why are we here? What are we doing? Oh, what we're doing, what are we doing it for? There must be a target, there must be an aim, an ultimate aim. What is it for us as Christians? Any answer? Just say anything.
To get to heaven.
To get to heaven. Yeah, good. And what else?
To get as many people to stand with us.
Sorry, I can't hear.
To get as many people to stand with us.
Yeah, to get as many people as possible to get to heaven with us.
To get closer to God.
Get closer to God. Yeah. Why do we want to go to heaven? Or get people to heaven? Because we love God. Yes. So it is not heaven that we love, it's God that we love. So what we want to go to heaven for is to be with God. Right? So our main goal, our aim is to be with God. And we need to start that now. We need to be with God now. So we don't have to wait and say, okay, when we go to heaven, we'll be with God. No, we can start that now. We can be with God now. So our main target is to be with God. And to reach that main target, there are smaller ones. There are steps that will take us there. So you need to plan at the beginning of the year or at any time of your life, whenever you want. But it's the beginning of a year now, so it's a good chance. Every one of us, like in the next few days, think about what target do you want to achieve. And try and apply this. I know this is not really a spiritual program. It's something that we all use, or many of us use at work. We had something like that. We need to make a plan before the year starts, and we need to put some specific targets in that plan, and these specific targets have to have certain criteria, and they have to be assessed at certain times of the year to see where we're going. So it's a good way, even in the spiritual life, it's a good way of trying to make sure that you are progressing during the year. So if we look at the S, so it's specific, so it's got to be a plan, is target specific. For us, we can think of one thing that is negative that we want to get rid of, and one thing that is positive that we want to gain. And I'll leave that to each one of you, or each one of us, because I'm included as well, and decide for yourself for the year 2015, what do you want to lose, what is bad that you want to lose, and what is good that you want to gain. But it also has to be something that you can measure. So you quantify, or at least suggest an indicator of progress. So when you're making your plan, this is my target for the year, you need to be able to put some way or to measure that. Maybe you want to stop lying, for example. There's a negative you want to get rid of. So probably you say, like numbers. Let's say I would not exceed that. Now I'm lying every day. Maybe I will make sure that I don't lie more than once a week to start with, and then you get rid of it, or something like this. So you make a plan. And it has to, you need to be able to measure it. It's difficult to generalize that. I think it's easier for everyone to take it personally and think about it. And you need to be able to choose something that's achievable. Don't choose something that is good, but it's not achievable, at least not at this stage. So think simple, easy things to start with, and then you can build up. You cannot say my target as a positive thing to gain. My target is to pray the 7 hours every day. When you actually only saying Our Father who art in heaven every day at the moment. You cannot do this jump. You have to go gradually. So you start with something that you think is possible for you to achieve. And it has to be reasonable, realistic, relevant. So this is the R, given the available resources. So like for you who are serving, for example, don't decide on a target that you think with whatever resources you have, you're not going to achieve. So what is the point? You're just making it difficult for yourself. So it has to be reasonable, it has to be realistic, it has to be relevant to your life, relevant to your service, or whatever you want to do. And then it has, this is very important, you have to put a time limit on it. And it does not have to be for a whole year. You don't say, I will achieve this by the end of 2015. Maybe that's far too long for what you want to do. Maybe what you want to do is quite simple and you can achieve it in 3 months. So put a time limit on it. You say, like I tell you what we used to do at work. So they give us a plan with headings, and we need to choose 3 targets, and each one, how are we going to achieve it? How is it going to be measured? When do we expect it to be completed? So you have a clear plan for the year or for a period of time. And then you need to follow it up. So they have in that plan that we're going to look at it again after, let's say, 6 months. And then we're going to look at it again after 9 months. And then if we don't achieve it, we're not going to get the bonus. And we maybe not get a pay rise. So you need to measure it. You need to look at it to see how you're progressing. So, but give yourself time frame to achieve what you set up to do. And you might find that it's something that you benefit in performing or in choosing even by asking somebody else, maybe somebody who is a bit older, a bit more experienced, maybe the father of confession, or maybe a spiritual guide, or maybe a peer that will be able to help you as well. So yeah, so I didn't want to talk too much today about this. I just wanted to go through to share the journey with you. But because it's the beginning of the year, I think it's a good thing to try and think of what are we going to do this year. Don't leave it open. Every year we come to the midnight between the previous year and the following year, and we stand here and we pray and we promise and we say we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But because it's not structured, it's not done. So have a structure. I think you can use something else, but I thought this is a good way of doing things and being able to measure them and to follow it up. If you find that is useful for you, please do it and maybe update me in the future to let me know whether it's working for you or not. All right? Any comments? Anything? Sorry, we took a bit too long, but I thought the journey would be interesting to you, so I wanted to share that. Okay, thank you very much. And I'm very pleased to see this number. I'm not interested in numbers, but I mean to see all those people here. I really hope that from now on the meeting is not less than this. If we can make it grow even bigger, it's better. And this is one of my targets for this year. And I think it's also for the group that are now organizing the meeting. And we need all to support them, encourage them by coming, attending, come up with ideas. And by coming, you encourage others to come because they come and find a bigger meeting. So it's usually more attractive this way. All right.